Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel of Bethel Evangelical Free Church Hanley. I'm Pastor Charmley with another video in the series on Derbyshire church. It's getting quite late in the day when I'm doing a lot of these videos, so it's a bit gloomy in here, but this is Holy Trinity Church, Ashford-in-the-Water. Ashford-in-the-Water is a little town in Derbyshire, and as the name suggests, it's where a number of rivers and streams and other watercourses come together. There's been a church here for many centuries. The current building is mostly 14th century, major Victorian restoration, of course, because most of them they have. It's noted for a number of things, which we'll see as we go around. It's a historic building, still in use today, and we'll see the way it's changed over the years. So let's have a look around without further ado. So here we are inside. You can see here you've got a nice pulpit that does have Jacobean elements at least, with its sounding board. Very Victorian, nice chancel. Of course, as we look around, you've got a modern banner there. The font is 15th century, I believe, made of local stone, quite simple. We have up here one of a number of maiden's krantz. These were made of paper, and they were displayed at the funerals of unmarried women. One of them, I think that one's a replica, but the older ones are in here now. They're hard to see because they're up in the ceiling, and I can't find the light switch in here. But these were they're signs of reminders of tragedy. We have here a nice window, pre-Raphaelite window, the Annunciation at the top, the very nice demure Mary and respectful Gabriel, St. John at the bottom. We have here, I think, St. Nicholas with children at the seaside, which is quite nice, of course, because St. Nicholas of Myra, he's the patron saint of seafarers, and he is noted for his work with children, which leads to him being turned into Santa Claus in some sense. And this is the aisle. It's quite a big aisle. It's got a couple of interesting windows, those ones there. This is a nice one, nice 20th century. Oh, come, let us adore him, the Virgin Mary and the infant Jesus. And this is a very modern window, very expressive. There's the 750th. That's it's 4 o'clock there. That's 4 in the afternoon, which of course means the evening at this time of year. The pulpit, yes, Jacobean, with a suspended sounding board. Works of mercy in that big window there. In the chancel we have the organ hidden back there. Choir stalls, nice big choir stalls, and the chancel very Victorian again. You've got your credence shelf, no piscina, there is a sedilia lined with wood, which I'm sure makes it much more comfortable, especially with the cushion. And we look all the way west, that was a tile. They've got the royal arms. Quite often these days they are displayed above the tower arch, because today the idea of displaying the royal arms in the church is certainly above the main arch, is shrouded, and also quite often the arches have been enlarged. Here, for example, we've got a Victorian chancel arch. This is too big to have that, and you see the difference between it and that very pointed tower arch there, with the font below. It's a nice lectern. We've got a Trinity shield on the side there, because this is Holy Trinity Church. So this is really the interior, with its see the shadow, the maiden's krant, or the imitation maiden's krant there, casts, and they were signs of tragedy, that young women who had been killed, and one of them was to do with a young woman who was drowned on the way to her wedding. So there is that tragedy that is reflected by them. But here we are. This would be for supporting coffins on. A very nice pulpit, very well done, well carved. So this is Ashford-in-the-Water, Holy Trinity. I know I'm rushing this a little bit. It's because I'm very conscious that when I get outside it's going to be quite dark and gloomy. So I'll stop here with the font and then we'll pop outside and conclude this video. Also, here we are on November evening outside at the Church of the Holy Trinity, Ashford-in-the-Water. You see, again, it's a very typical medieval parish church. We've got our tower, nave, chancel, and there's an aisle, a big vestry on the end, nice big aisle. It's predominantly 14th century with some later bits and pieces. So we'll have a look around the outside. I'll point out some salient features and some features of the village that surrounds it. So here we are, Holy Trinity, Ashford on the outside, and you see here immediately the tower, chancel, vestry. Windows very largely, all of them look to be 19th century. Over here we have an interesting structure. This is the old Methodist Chapel, now in private house. And what we've got really facing us is the schoolroom, and the actual chapel is beyond. Enter through the porch, and there'd be two doors in there. 1899? Anyway, 1890, yes, 1899 is the date on the front. That's the old Methodist Chapel. There was a congregation of General Baptists here. I don't think they ever had a chapel. They had a burial ground off towards Monsell Head, but they would have met, I expect, in cottages. So you see here you've got your big, it's a vestry there, big east window, very largely renovated in the 19th century, so it's quite a Victorianised building, but quite a nice one. There are some buildings where you think the Victorians completely ruined them. This is not one of them. This is one where it still retains quite a lot of its original character. So here we are, it's autumn, so leaves off the trees and the berries on the thorn. Very pleasant, very attractive. And you can see there the modern toilet, basically, the north porch. Important. In the old days, they didn't mind if you went behind a bush in the graveyard. I said to myself, I wouldn't say that, I just did say that. But that is actually what's going on there, is that in the old days, it wasn't that people had stronger bladders or anything, it was that people were much less shy about doing the graveyard. And the people in the graveyard are actually allowed for these things, but there we go. That's quite enough of that now. There is the tower, and you see again these windows. This is late 14th, early 15th century. This is again heading towards the Reformation, heading towards because architecture, we often talk, and particularly Gothic architects talk about periods, but really what you've got is there's a continuity in architecture that then causes a discontinuity with the Renaissance, and let's do everything like the ancient Greeks and the ancient Romans. You've got your big aisle. I suspect there was a small aisle originally, it's been enlarged in the 19th century as a way of adding to the accommodation. So we'll carry on around here, and then we'll come to the end and have a look at the base of the churchyard cross. We're used to churchyards looking like this, all these gravestones, unless somebody has decided to shift them all to one side. But we're used to them looking like this, but in the Middle Ages they wouldn't. You would have had perhaps little wooden crosses, markers when burials took place, but they soon disappear, and there was a single cross for everybody, and that's the churchyard cross. So we'll come to that whacking great Victorian porch, but the fabric, I say, it looks very Victorian apart from the tower, but I'm told that the nave is at least partly older. Well, here we are. This is the base of the churchyard cross. This is a type that would have had a socket and a cross fit in the socket, and the socket is now empty. It's just a socket. So that is the churchyard cross here at Ashford-in-the-Water. There's a bit of water coming from the sky at the moment. Not a lot, but enough. So, Holy Trinity, Ashford-in-the-Water. Well, I'll do the final words to the camera facing this. So there we are, the Church of the Holy Trinity, Ashford-in-the-Water, in the Derbyshire Peak District. It's a lovely church, it's a lovely part of the world. It's great to be able to come out here on an autumn afternoon. I can't help the cars going past. And just autumn day, autumn evening now, and just enjoy the beauties of the scenery. Well, I hope you enjoy this video. I enjoy making them. I enjoy going out and seeing these interesting places and experiencing the vagaries of dog walkers and things. And thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you next time, and may God bless you and keep you. Thank you.